right. A little commercial break, y'all. We have Mr. and Mrs. Harris from the Refiner's House, and we're glad that you all are here at ATL Straight Talk Empower the People. I appreciate you guys taking time out of your schedule to come and meet with us and talk to us about what you guys are doing.
Definitely.
So we're gonna jump right into it. So we can start with you, Mr. Harris.
Sure.
Where are you from?
I'm from Illinois. I was born in Illinois and raised in Illinois.
Okay.
And, a town called Harvey, Illinois. So if you've seen the movie called The Blues Brothers,
Yes.
you remember the mall scene where they destroyed the mall?
Yes.
That mall was in my hometown.
Okay.
Yeah, well, they never rebuilt the mall after that.
Oh.
I figured I'd throw that out there. But that's where I was born and raised
Okay.
my entire life. Yeah, in Harvey. I went to school in Chicago. I went to college in Chicago. I worked professionally in Chicago up until we relocated to Georgia 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And you're from Chicago as well, Mr.
Well, technically, I'm from a city called Macomb, Mississippi. Actually,
Okay.
actually originally from New Orleans, Louisiana.
Okay.
But I came to, when I met my husband, I was in Macomb, Mississippi, and I moved to Illinois. But I was in Illinois for like 21 years, so you almost kind of like where's your home actually?
Right.
And so from Macomb, Mississippi, that's the place where I kind of pretty much grew up at down there.
Okay. So you met your husband in Illinois.
Well, no.
Where'd
That's
y'all
another
meet?
whole story. I don't know if you want to.
How much time we have?
I know, right? It is because it's really amazing how God does things.
Okay.
I was in Macomb, Mississippi. I was in ministry at that point. My husband was in Chicago.
Okay.
And someone, someone.
She went to the Bible study where my mom was going to a Bible study where she was the part of that ministry. And my mom decided that I needed to get married, and she came over to my mom's house one night, I was in ministry in Chicago, not in ministry, but I was in church.
Yeah.
Right.
I was played in the band, bass guitar in the band at church. So it was like 11, 12 o'clock one night because we always had late service on Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
And I get home and the phone is ringing, and it's my mom on the phone, and she's like, "Hold on, I have somebody for you to talk to," and it was her.
It was your wife.
Okay. I never seen her, That's how it started,
That's awesome.
in terms from my point of view, right? My mom was watching her. If you listen to my mom's story, my mom said she was watching her for about a year.
Are you serious?
So that's what I was told,
Yeah, everybody here. She was
So-
there. She was everybody here watching me.
Yeah. So at that point, what happened was I had lost my job. They had downsized,
Okay.
and I had the opportunity to get another job. I dragged my feet on it, and they were like, "Well, that position is gone now." And then my mom started like, "Well, you can come down here to Mississippi." I was like, "I don't want to go to Mississippi," And I've been in Illinois my whole life.
Right.
And there's long story short, I made my way to Mississippi, and 9 months later I was married, and 2 months later we were back in Illinois.
Yes.
So
that's awesome.
that's the edited version
Okay.
of it, right? So we
Right.
can give you more on that.
It's amazing.
It's a lot of decisions that were made that
Yeah.
weren't in wisdom, but God brought us this far.
Yeah.
He did. So yeah, but
That's
Okay.
that's
All
the
right.
brief version.
That's the brief one.
Yes.
I'm sure we'll get to hear the sneaky bird.
That's how the Lord moves,
Yeah, he does.
Check it out.
It was
Oh,
amazing.
yeah.
Exactly.
That's beautiful.
All right. As far as so what brought you to Atlanta? What made you guys decide to move to Atlanta?
Well, I really just want to start to let you know I don't do anything without seeking the Lord.
Okay.
I've been saved now for about 27 years, and I've been seeking the Lord every day of those years. And I've become accustomed to, the scripture says, acknowledge the Lord in all your ways, and He will direct your path. So I don't do anything without acknowledging God. So literally, I couldn't have imagined myself, being in Atlanta. It was like one of them things, like, I don't want to go to Atlanta, kind of like type deal. But just through a series of dreams, like after about the third dream, and I'm seeing myself in Atlanta, and knowing how my husband is, I'm like, one morning, like he got up to work and said, "Wait, hold up. I keep having these dreams that we're in Atlanta." And he's like, oh, we're not going to Atlanta.
You never moved to Atlanta.
We ain't never going to Atlanta.
It had nothing to do with y'all.
No, I get it. No,
Just,
no, person, nothing taken personal. Trust me.
And so I said, well, see, Lord, you heard that, okay. But really, the Lord began to just move, and his job sent him to Atlanta for some work he had to do. And while he was here, the last day we was getting ready to go, because he brought us with, the family with, he was like, I believe we need to go look for a house. He said, because this is like really heavy on me, like the Lord wants us to be here in the city. Like, look for a house, dude, we about to get ready to go. He's like, no, we need to look for a house today. I mean, the last day we visiting, now he like called a realtor, and you guys would be so amazed, like literally, that day, about an hour later, we meeting the realtor, we go and see houses,
Wow. We were supposed to be driving home.
Yeah.
But it happened, it was a little bit more than that.
Well, I was trying to be brief.
Yeah, I'm going to be a little longer.
Well, you got the floor, so.
Okay.
So what happened that year was after me constantly saying, we never moving to Atlanta. My wife goes, I want to take 2 vacations a year. She comes up with this brilliant idea. She want to take 2 vacations a year. So we were trying to do good taking 1 vacation a year. So now 2. So, me with my thinking, I try to figure out how we can do this, right? Without having to use up all my vacation days.
Right.
So my job said I could take training. So, and working in IT, I was able to do the training remotely. I didn't have to be in the office. So I had a training, and they had a class in Atlanta. The class really wasn't in Atlanta, it was remote. So we came to Atlanta, and I logged in every day and did the class, and while we were here, we did other things.
Yeah.
And on the last day, we woke up, it started off where she was. I felt like, maybe we should go look at some houses. And that started this whole process of me never hearing me say I would never move to Atlanta.
Wow.
Goes back to that never say never.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because I said I would never go to Mississippi, and I found myself.
And you found yourself right.
So-
In Mississippi.
Yeah, so we don't say never anymore. So it's leave that one out.
Right. Interesting.
But quite interesting, yes.
So as far as the ministry goes, briefly walk us through that story.
Okay. Well, we do know, because even getting ready to come here, I just wanted to just tell you this before we actually get into it, because it's important that we see God in the situation. You know what I'm saying? Because, none of this was really based upon our own personal desire, And being in ministry so long, you just get to you start to learn and discern the Lord's voice, and what He wants you to do. So we knew that God wanted us to move here. I'm telling you, within 30 days we had a buyer for my home.
Wow.
But this is significant. You say we have a floor. This is significant because I want you to see God in it. He told us, right? So when the Lord tells you something, He typically provides and gives you the provision and makes the waves. So within 30 days, we had a buyer for the home. But even with that buyer, it was many people coming in. And I had a dream on a Monday, right Monday morning before you wake up. And in that dream, I heard that the people who are coming to see the home is going to buy the home. They're going to buy the home. And when they buy the home, I want you to go to a hotel. Okay? So I go to sleep, wake up, I had a dream, okay, and I'm not saying anything. The people come, they like, oh, we like the home, we'll let you know. About 3:33 that evening, those people wanted the home, okay. Yes, it was just like he said.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why that's significant is because I needed some level of comfort to move to Georgia. And so God was letting me know every step of the way, I'm in this, you know what I'm saying? I'm in this. And so it was something happening with the situation with the people who were buying the home where their finances begin to fall through or something like that. So I went to God like, Lord, you said these were the people who was buying the home. I kid you not, I received a phone call after that prayer, maybe an hour or two, after talking to God about that, with a lady who just basically just happened to just be calling me and say, hey, I know, I know a realtor, I know somebody who can get this deal through, I didn't know if it was appropriate. I was supposed to be, intervening in that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, I didn't know.
No, I get it.
But
Yeah.
the information came to me.
Right.
So I was like, okay, well, let me, I'm gonna call this dude. I called him, and this was his exact words to me. I'm telling you in the conversation. He said, Ms. Harris, if I can't close them, no one can close them. He said, well, he let me know, this is not necessarily how business is done, He said, but, if they're willing to trust me, with certain things, he said, I will look at it. Well, that was like on
Thursday or Friday, I think.
like a Thursday. Well, they called him on a Friday. They gave it all to him. They literally gave all the paperwork over to him. And the man called me on Monday and said, Ms. Harris, I know he's supposed to be calling you, but I haven't even let the buyers know they're approved. You got to clear the close.
Wow.
You said weekend, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
you got to clear the close. And the reason why that was important for us is because we were packing and we needed somewhere to go. Those details was important.
Right.
Yes.
And so we ended up going to a hotel. We were in the hotel for 9 months.
Really?
Yes, we were in 9 months in Chicago, and not to mention, we became debt free. God just moved some different things like that. I mean, it was like, and in the midst of the 9 months, God created a job here for my husband.
Wow.
In the midst of that, he got to tell you, it was amazing. Literally, what did we find out, lady, once you actually got there?
Which part?
How you found out they basically created a job for you. Somebody got hired, told them to hire you, and basically he quit.
A guy at the top, a VP, told the director, and the director approved me to get hired. And my manager said when he found out, who I was, he said, I was determined to hire you because it was his first opportunity to hire someone. But he quit. My manager quit. 3-4 months after I was hired. The director told me, he said, Nathaniel, he said, I just want to let you know, the VP told me you need to hire this guy. His VP told him. Vice President told him, he said, you need to hire him. With a month or two after I was hired, the VP quit. He resigned, went to another company. And so the director, who's my director, he's no longer my director anymore. He's still at the company. But the position I had, I could apply for this position basically on the train, using the app on the train. I just said, I didn't send a cover letter. I just sent a basic resume, sent it to him.
See how God works.
And it was nothing to my doing, right? I can't accredit myself for, okay, I had the skills, I had this. I mean, I had general knowledge, but the door was open is what we found out, right? The door was open, and that enabled this transition to happen because when you have a family of 5 children, right? A hotel sounds great, right? But a hotel with 5 children, 2 adults, is a whole different.
It really is.
Scenario.
It is,
right?
Interesting. But the Lord was really moving and showing us constantly. It did take faith because, faith is us believing, that what God said, but he was helping our faith too as well because everything he said he was actually doing. You know what I'm saying? So that was helping us too as well. But we got here on a word basically. So I had a full business that was making plenty of money, nice money. Oh yeah, praise God. And a ministry that was flourishing, that was doing great. My husband was doing really. We were at the, I believe, kind of, if you would think about like the peak of our. Everything was beginning to explode. Like yes, like moving. What? Okay. Start over, okay, but when God says something, you just adjust, okay, which is what we actually did. We just adjust and we begin to move. And but the Lord says move. And then, he didn't just say move. He said move to Alpharetta. Now, this is at a time we don't even know what Alpharetta is.
Right.
We don't know Alpharetta from Savannah.
We don't know.
Exactly.
My husband wakes up 3 o'clock in the morning because we get up, we're going to spend some time with the Lord, different times. 3 o'clock in the morning, he rolls out the bed because he want to go, spend some time with the Lord. He walks down, he like, God said.
But I heard you calling me.
Yeah, I called you, yeah.
But you said you didn't call.
I didn't call him. That's what made him get up.
I heard you calling
He
my
woke
name.
up and said, you called my name? I'm like, no, I ain't calling you. He was like, okay, get up and go pray. And he said, when in prayer, the Lord told him Alpharetta. So we began to look and see if that's a place. And it was an actual real place. Yes, it was a real place. And so we were telling everybody, we're going to Alpharetta. Everybody like, why Alpharetta? Like, you can be, you can more for your money if you do something. I said, well, when we start thinking about it, like, well, God said Alpharetta. God says Alpharetta. So this is how we end up in Alpharetta, to bring the ministry here. There's something we know. We pretty much knew that God was going to send us somewhere, right? But there's a very important ministry to be done here, even now that I've been here for the past couple of years. It is important that people come to know who God is.
Yeah.
And that's what our ministry is for.
And I would just say, Katrina really has spearheaded and pioneered the birth of this ministry. It didn't come with us sitting together and planning. It came about with her really being diligent. And I want to say this publicly so people can really know. With her really believing that God said this. And when you're believing that God says something and everything around you is saying, are you sure? That really takes an effort, and it takes some discipline, it takes some commitment, and we are both here with one another. I was sitting there just meditating when we were driving this, but it is certain that somebody makes a decision that they're just going to believe God.
Right.
Somebody's just committed, and I like how you all, introduce like what's going on in ATL. I can tell you this for sure, with the Freaknik and with the Pride Fest and with all that's happening, that's going on, I can tell you that God is on the move in this city. For sure.
Yes.
God, I know if God brought us here and He is bringing people here, God loves Atlanta. He loves the people. Amen. And He has plans, to reveal Himself in this city.
Absolutely. It's interesting too how me and Katrina connected. Yes.
How did y'all connect?
Mom was teaching online
To my daughter.
for her daughter.
Oh.
Yes.
Really? Okay.
I don't know how the conversation transpired about me doing the show and stuff, because my what I do during the week in my job, I work for Comcast. I'm in telecommunications. So we can. Yeah.
IT, come on now.
I already made the connection.
She always gonna connect. That's right. Amen. That's it.
So, yes, I do believe God is moving, and in these relationships, we're coming across like so many people. I come in contact with so many different people, just being out prospecting, and I'm just enjoying. I'm enjoying that. So I'm glad I met you. So let's go right into our next question.
You wanna
Take a moment.
pause for a minute.
Let's take a quick commercial break, y'all. We'll be right back at you.
I heard a lot of large events like Summit 21, Exodus, those types of things.
Okay.
All right, y'all, we're back. So I'm gonna roll into my next question. Were there any moments in your journey that you're most proud of, or most fond of?
Most fond of. Well, I can tell you every step of the way, especially when you begin to talk about a faith walk. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've heard Seven say, faith walk is not a cakewalk. Okay. All right. So it's nothing about the actual journey itself and the things that I had to go through was easy. I think the most pleasant thing for me is getting to know God.
Absolutely.
Because every time you do something different, you get to know a little bit more about Him. You know what I'm saying? His ways, how He maneuvers, his heart, the things that concern Him. I believe that out of all things, because it's been definitely a fight.
Right.
And I believe that it's going to continue to be one.
Right.
And I'm not necessarily happy, quote unquote, about the fight. Okay.
I get it,
You know what I'm saying? But I'm motivated.
Absolutely.
Because I know that God is never wrong. You know what I'm saying? And because I know Him, I know whatever He's allowing and whatever He's doing is going to be not only beneficial for me,
Right.
but it's going to be also beneficial for the people around me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You care to share any testimony? I mean, you've shared about since you've been here, you've been sharing testimonies, but anyone that stick out to you or
I guess this will be really great to because sometimes you want to know who is this person, who say God is doing this and God has moved in my life and so much, but I would like to just bring to the stage that I've been on my own since I was 13.
Okay.
And I believe this is particularly important, so you don't think I was just born with a silver spoon in my mouth and I'm just talking about God and everything came easy. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't know the Lord. I've been on my own since I was 13 years old. I've been raped. I've been raped 3 times. I done tried to commit suicide 3 times.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I was caught up, with drug dealers and different things like that. I've been beat. I've been, left in places of abandoned. I've been abandoned. You know what I'm saying? Life was pretty hard for me, but I didn't know God, and I wasn't raised in the church. I just thought God was a man in the sky that if you just do good,
Right.
he just know the people who doing trying to do right. That's just my understanding of who God was.
Okay. So you weren't raised in the church, but Mr. Harris, you were raised.
I've been in the church. I've been in the church building my whole life,
Okay.
right? Since
Okay.
early as the 5th grade. I've been,
Okay.
when I was 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade, my mother had some relationship with the pastor of the church, whatever, where they would come pick us up for Sunday school.
Mm-hmm.
Not a crazy relationship, but she was like, y'all going to church. So,
Right.
so she would go and then she'd talk to somebody, and next thing you know, the bus was coming, picking us up for Sunday school and bringing us home. She wasn't going with us, so she was just making us go to church, my siblings and I.
Yeah.
And so I've been acquainted with the church, for the better part of my life.
Yeah, we have to. Me and Tanya, like I said, we grew up next door to each other.
Was raised in
we
it.
was
I was.
my grandmother, my mom's mom, raised us. Me, my brother, and my sister. So we went to church every Sunday, even if we were sleeping in the, we were there, but we was sleeping in the little pews and everybody snoring and then but we've been affiliated with the church for a long time. But was that did you introduce your wife to the kingdom of God?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I was in church in Chicago growing up and developing my own relationship with God at that point. And I'll tell you something my former pastor said. He's passed on now. But he would have all the single men stand up in church and ask them basically what they wanted in a wife. And I said, I have 2 things. I wanted a wife who was fine and a wife who loved God. And I tell you not, this is before God. He stood in that pulpit and he said, she's not here. He said that to me, but where was she born at? She told you?
Yeah.
Louisiana?
Yeah.
Where was she raised at?
Louisiana.
Mississippi. She wasn't there.
Right.
And you weren't going.
Well, you
And I wasn't going. So
right. You was like, I'm never going to Mississippi.
So God he fixed something
Yeah, he
to
did.
get me to her.
Yeah.
She wasn't chasing after me, and she wasn't going to following after me. She was busy working and gainfully employed. What she doing, very productive, extremely in demand, right, for her services. And I was I was out of college at this point, so I was working and I was experiencing corporate layoff, right? I was unemployed, I had all the potential, but I was unemployed. When I met her, I wasn't working, right? I had lost my job. So